Hey everybody, this is Angel again with the Laugh Ministries, and today's verses of encouragement is going to come from Psalms chapter 54. Now it's a short little chapter, but I'm just going to pull out a few verses here and tell you what the Lord has put on my heart for today. Chapter 54 in Psalms, I'm going to start with verse 3. It says, "For strangers are risen up against me, and oppressors seek after my soul. They have not set God before them, Selah. Behold, God is mine helper. The Lord is with them that uphold my soul. He shall reward evil unto mine enemies, and cut them off in thy truth. I will freely sacrifice unto thee. I will praise thy name, O Lord, for it is good. He hath delivered me out of all trouble, and mine eye hath set his desire upon my enemies." Now, David here, he's writing this to let us know this is a prayer he has given the Lord as a prayer of deliverance. His oppressors and our oppressors, people that come against us and try to take your joy and bring you down and get in between you and the Lord. This is the people that they're speaking about here. It says, these strangers have risen up against me, and they are seek after my soul. You know what? We are in a constant warfare, and I've said this, and the Bible tells us time and time again that we are not in a battle with each other. We're in a battle, a spiritual battle. We battle principalities and spiritual things. It's a constant warfare. But he says here in verse 4, if we'll go back, he says, God is mine helper. God is mine helper. Your help, your deliverance can only come from the Lord. He goes on to say here in verse 5, this is the promise part of this. He says, He shall reward evil unto mine enemies, cut them off in thy truth. Now in verse 6, this is where something's needed from us as well. Anytime there's a promise of God to you, there is something we need to do, something we need to evaluate. Here we are in verse 6. It says, I will freely sacrifice unto thee. I will praise thy name, O Lord, for it is good. Now, sacrifice here is something that not necessarily that we give up, but this goes into an act of worship, whatever that may be. Your act of sacrifice or your act of worship, now that's between you and the Lord. Now, a sacrifice and an act of worship is not something that's always comfortable for you to do. A lot of times the things that the Lord asks us to do is outside of our comfort zone, and that's when it becomes such a sacrifice. If sacrifices were so easy, would they really be a sacrifice? That's why we have to go through and we have to sacrifice some things for Him, sacrifice some things out of our life, weed out those things that are not needed, those things that are hindering us from getting in that true state of worship with the Lord. Now, then after this, he says here in verse 7, for He hath delivered me out of all trouble. So there you go. I hope you have a blessed day. Bye-bye.